Hello students, welcome to your instructions for 4.2.9. To do this assignment, we are going to need your 4.1.9-A and your 4.2.3b assignment. So make sure that you completed those before you start this assignment. You shouldn't be at this point if you haven't done those, but just in case, make sure you did. That was the circle map you did with the outline and the finding common ground assignment. Okay? So the first thing you're going to want to do is start a new Google Doc. The way you can do this is either go to your Google Docs page by just saying Google Docs. This is how I like to do it. And then make sure you click Go to Docs and not try Docs to work. And this should automatically take you to a new document. Now there is another way to do it. If you're in your school email, you can click on these 4 buttons and go to Docs here right off the bat. That might be easier if you're signed in, or you can use the Googling shortcut. Anyway, so you're going to need a blank Google Doc, okay? That's the first step. The second step is we're going to need to pull up that argument pre-writing assignment that you did. Now we're going to need to go to your Google Drive. Like before, you can either go here and go to your Google Drive by clicking here, or the same thing, you can type Google Drive into Google, and then click Go to Drive, not Drive for Work. Mine took me automatically there, but it's going to be the same thing. You should have done this recently, so you can click on Recent, and it should pop up, or you can just type in Argument Pre-Writing here, and you should have the correct assignments. If you spell it wrong, it should be okay and be able to figure it out. So you're going to open that up. Once you have your 2 documents handy, so your circle map and a blank document, you're going to split your screen. The way I do this is I click on the tab and I hold down on it, not letting go, and then you pull down, and then what you're going to do is kind of pull it all the way to the right until you see a little gray box. Do you see how that little gray box popped up? When you see the gray box, you let go. Then it should automatically give you the choice to choose one. If it doesn't, you can kind of rearrange by doing that click and drag until you have your 2 screens. Scroll all the way down to your outline.
Okay, so what we're going to do is basically just do a lot of copying and pasting and adding transition words. That's why I added a link to transition words here in Apex. I'll open it up for you just so you can see what it looks like. All right, so the first thing we want to do is set up our assignment. You're going to do your first and last name, actually, my name. Sorry, that's kind of confusing. Let's just do Miss Lai. Your class name. And the date. In MLA formatting, which is the formatting that you do, for English, your date is going to be backward. So it's July 1st. So I'm going to do 01 space July space 2022. I know it's kind of backwards. You're going to press return. You're going to go up here and center it, and that's going to be your title. I'm going to have my title be The Internet Makes Us Smarter. It doesn't have to be super creative. And then I'm going to start. Make sure you send it back to left align, and then there's one more thing I want you guys to do. We want this to be double spaced. So I just selected everything, and you go to this little button here and do double. That's all. Now we're double spaced and I'm ready to start. Introduction! Number 1, you usually want to start your introduction with just some opening statements to get people thinking about this. So here's what I'm going to write. No one can deny that the internet has changed the way our world works. Currently, people have the internet at their fingertips. Most of us can go online at any time and at any place. Some people say the internet has been a bad thing that has made us stupid. However, I believe the internet does not make us stupid because it makes us think critically and gives us information. So I copied and pasted my claim, but I'm going to add a transition word, however, okay? However shows us that I'm saying different from here. We're making a contrast. My introduction is done. Return, tab. I'm going to copy and paste my topic sentence for body paragraph number 1. And I don't want it to be green, so I'm going to do Control-Shift-V. Nope. Never mind. It's this one. I right-click and I go here. Okay. And then I'm just going to copy my evidence here. And then I'm going to do, again, right-click, paste without formatting. Going to get rid of the extra space. And then let's make sure if I need to add any transition words. Nope, I think it flows okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a concluding sentence, which just wraps up what I said. My concluding sentence is, this all makes us smarter. I'm connecting back to my claim. Doesn't have to be complicated. It just brings it back to the claim, because that's the purpose. Okay, return, tab. Let's move on to number 2. Copy. Paste. Copy. Paste. Delete the extra stuff. I already had a transition phrase in here, for example, but now already had transition words, so I don't need to add them. If you're not sure, just read through your paragraph, try reading it out loud, and see if it sounds like it flows, or if it sounds like there's a weird jump from idea to idea. If there's a weird jump, go here and pick a transition word to add.
Before we move on to the conclusion, there is one more body paragraph we need, the counterclaim paragraph. To complete that, you're going to have to pull up your Finding Common Ground assignment. So you're going to type in here, Finding Common Ground, and pull up your assignment. You should not have as many as me. Here is mine. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be writing a counterclaim paragraph. A counterclaim paragraph is traditionally one where you talk about your opponent's belief and then you address their belief and kind of tear it down. However, we're going to do something that's a bit of a twist on that, because the goal in our Finding Common Ground assignment is the idea that instead of tearing down our opponents, finding a common ground and empathizing them will actually help us change their minds better than just attacking them. So this is going to go after our last body paragraph. And what I've done over here is I've made you a template for the counterclaim paragraph, and I'm going to be sticking this in the custom. The first step is to go to the Finding Common Ground assignment that we just pulled up and copy and paste your favorite sentence from step 4. So this is the example that I did for you. I'm going to scroll down to step number 4, and I only did one of the sentence starters, so I'm just going to copy that. Copy, and then I'm going to paste this after my last body paragraph. Oops, forgot to put Control-Shift-V. There we go. Next, we are going to do our next sentence. For sentence number 2 to 3, you need to suggest a compromise or a middle ground. You want to try to think of, how do I get from their belief here to my belief? So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about, even though I think this is true, maybe it just depends on how you use it. So I wrote, perhaps instead we can conclude that the internet will only make you smarter if you choose to use it that way. That's kind of my middle ground. Lastly, you're just going to say why you think this is true, or just restate your opinion. However, I still believe the internet makes you smarter because its existence gives people the ability to become smarter. So I'm restating my opinion, and then I'm just going to wrap it up with a nice concluding sentence. In summary, I think the internet is beneficial for most people's brains. Notice I tried to vary up the phrase making people smarter just to give it a little more variance. Finally, as with the other body paragraphs, you want to reread this just to make sure everything flows, see if you add transitions. One thing you will probably need to do is change this word. In a formal essay, you want to avoid talking to the reader, so change the you to people. I agree when people say. Okay? Then we are ready to move on to our conclusion. You should have already done some work for your conclusion in your argument pre-writing assignment down here on the section conclusion. What we're just going to do is copy and paste this as your conclusion. Return, tab, Control, Shift, V. Finally, we need to add your last sentence for your assignment. You want your conclusion and your whole essay really to kind of end with a snap. I also think of this as a mic drop, which might be a dated reference, but you're going to try to think of something kind of interesting to wrap up your essay and leave people being like, oh yeah, that's smart. So mine I just put in here, as with most new advances, you get what you put into it. That's kind of like my wrap up. All right, so we are almost done. There is one more thing I want us to do. And that is looking over your rubric. Your rubric should be here in your custom assignment. And so I just wanted to review this so that we can make sure that our essay will get all the points we want. Make sure you have a clear claim that's arguable and defensible. This is our claim. Make sure you have 3 body paragraphs of at least 5 sentences each. So you're going to want to count the sentences in your body paragraphs. And if you only have 4, try to add some more detail or explanation in the middle of your paragraph. So usually you're going to be adding a sentence here if you need to get another sentence to get up to that 5. Our 3rd paragraph should be a counterclaim paragraph. You want to make sure your introduction paragraph has a hook, background information, and the thesis at the end. Your conclusion should summarize your 3 reasons and end with a snap. Make sure that you have all the transitions you need. Make sure you have organized with 1 argument per paragraph. Make sure you're using a formal tone. And last, just reread to make sure that there are no grammar errors, and that will make sure that you have all of your points for your essay.